Good morning, this is Dominic with TheBackVlog. I just shot my Tokyo Ghoul video, and it's probably my shortest YouTube video on this channel. I didn't really have much to say about it. On the contrary, I finished Legend of the Galactic Heroes Season 2. Actually, I wanted to talk about this release a little bit because I completely forgot to in the first video regarding the show. But this is a Malaysian bootleg that I got from eBay, and I have the second DVD set here. This has, I believe, Season 4 and the films. So Season 3 is actually on this thing too. But yeah, I wanted to watch this show. I heard about it late last year, like November or December. And I was looking it up, and I saw like the official Blu-rays were hundreds upon hundreds of dollars, and they had like these big ass Blu-ray sets, and I'm like, I'm not gonna spend this exorbitant amount of money for a show I've never seen before. But now that I've seen it, I would at least daydream of owning it. I probably still wouldn't buy it, but yeah, that set looks neat. But yeah, so Season 2 of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, I think it's a little bit more of a slow burn than Season 1 is, because I was thinking about like the events of Season 1 compared to Season 2, and Season 1 is just kind of like these minor altercations that kind of ramp up and up into a greater plot, whereas Season 2 is like, you know, it's one overarching plot, and there are like mini events that kind of like bring it to the conclusion. She almost spilled my coffee. So it's like, you know, in Season 1 you had these minor conflicts. In Season 1 you had these minor conflicts interspersed throughout, but in Season 2 there's not really many of them. So I don't know. I think the pace, it's not that the pacing was off, it's just that the pacing was a lot slower because there was a lot more, I guess Season 1 was more action oriented or action packed, which I guess, you know, for the first season of a show, you want it to be a hook to bring people in. It definitely brought me in. And that's not to say that Season 2 is bad or boring or anything, because it is incredible. I do have some notes written down. There is one fleet battle, the Battle of the Two-Headed Snake, where basically the Empire is kind of whittling down the Alliance's forces, and I thought it was really funny because, you know, Yang Wenli wasn't there. He was I think this was at the point in the season where he was doing the government inquiry, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, because that was incredible. That whole mini arc or mini plot thread. But yeah, so like the Alliance waiting for Yang Wenli, I have written down here, is like the Z Fighters waiting for Goku when Nappa is picking them up one by one. I just thought that was really funny. But yeah, so this government inquiry, I mean, there was no really good reason for it. It was just the government basically the Alliance government trying to whittle down Yang Wenli's morale and endurance by basically essentially kidnapping him and then just incessantly asking him questions for hours on end about you know, his intentions. Like, is he trying to overthrow the government and like become a dictator, and you know, why he destroyed I believe it was the planet, the Heinesen planet. I don't know if that's where the Artemis necklace was. That's like basically the defense system. I believe it was the planet, because that's where the coup took place in the first season. He's being questioned like why he destroyed that completely, leaving the home base of the Alliance with no defense, and you know, just all this stuff, and like they're talking about all these like deep political ideological ideas, and you know, talking about what his role in the government is and what the politicians' roles in the government are, and Yang Wenli is not backing down. He is so he is a man of conviction. He basically just calls everybody a bitch for like 2 episodes straight, and it's so good. Like, he does not back down. Like, that confidence is the confidence that I wish I had in my life. Because man, he's freaking awesome, man. I thought it was really interesting that season 2 seemed to be a little bit more Faison focused for a little bit. Faison or pheasant, I'm not sure if it sounds like a bird. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I didn't really talk about it in the first episode or the first video of Legend of the Galactic Heroes when I was talking about season 1. But so you have the Alliance and you have the Empire, and you know, in the middle is this nonpartisan entity called Faison, which is basically like Amazon. It's like a trade hub, I believe. It's like an economic superpower that has no political affiliation with either the Alliance or the Empire. It kind of serves as like a middle ground. It seemed that the character who was running it, I don't remember what the position's name, or I think it was a land sharer or something like that. The guy, Adrian Rubinsky, you know, he seemed like he was a really conniving person, just kind of like a real life Jeff Bezos, but Russian. He seems like a really smarmy and conniving person, and in the first season, he's talking to this hooded figure that looks like Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. And, you know, I completely forgot to talk about that at all because it played such a minor role in the overarching narratives of the first season. So second season comes in, and he wants to have the Empire take over the Alliance so that Faison can take over the Empire and they can have complete control. He's talking about like this contrived plan and everything, but you know, that doesn't really last for very long, that plan, because Faison, I believe it's a planet, but it's like in the middle of Faison. It's called the Faison Corridor, where Heinesen is and where the Empire is. It's kind of like, imagine like a tube where it's like, you know, you have the one end's planet there and you have the other end's planet there, and then like in the middle there's like 2 corridors. It kind of like it's kind of like I imagine like a paper towel tube, and in the one side is the Isserlone corridor where the Empire at once had control over, because there's like a base there. But you know, in season 1 the Alliance kind of takes it over. And then there's the Faison corridor, which, like I said, is like a nonpartisan corridor. But you know, Faison's plan doesn't really end up going anywhere because the Empire ends up invading the corridor, the Faison corridor, as well as the Isserlone corridor. And you know, they do now have complete control, which, now that I think about it, might be part of Rubinsky's plan, because he went into hiding and everything once Faison was invaded. So maybe that is what he's planning, because you know, the season ends with, and spoilers I guess, but you know, the Empire does have full control now, because they have captured Heinesen, and it's the defense secretary. Well, he was the defense secretary in season 1. I don't know if that's his position now, but I think his name is Job Trunit. He basically conceded, like the rat bastard that he is. So, you know, Faison's plan of total domination seems like, at the moment, it didn't really work out too well because the Empire has control of everything, including Faison. But, you know, that brings me to another thing that seems like it's going to be explored in the upcoming seasons now. You know, that hooded figure that Rubinsky was conspiring with is part of the Earth cult, which is a religious cult based on Earth. And you know, Earth is like barely even part of the equation of this because we're in space now. Humans are residing on other planets at this point. Earth is like an afterthought, but you know, you have like this religious cult who is saying like, you know, Earth is the most important thing. But yeah, it seems like they do have deeper plans because, you know, the season ends with them basically, I believe it's the last scene of the season, but it's saying like how everything is like falling into plan and stuff. So I'm going to be really interested to see like what exactly they have planned. So they keep saying how Yang Wenli, despite the fact that he could be a dictator, he doesn't want to be. He has no political ambition whatsoever. He didn't even want to be a soldier. He wanted to be a historian. And I think that's why he's so good in battle. Like he's not healthy by any means. He's not even confident really. I said he was confident earlier, but he's just a man of conviction. He's not confident in himself. He's confident in his beliefs. I think because he has this wealth of knowledge from the past, and the past is destined to repeat itself, he knows how to navigate conflict. He definitely has the power to, or he had the power to overthrow the government. Maybe not now because there is no alliance government anymore. Well, not in the same way that it used to be. But I think it's really interesting because now Julian is becoming a bigger character now. He's basically, I guess he's like the Gohan of this series, where, you know, he's following in his father's footsteps and everything. And Yang Wenli is not Julian's father, but he is his mentor. And, you know, the way that he fights in battle, he even adopts some of Yang Wenli's plans in battle at some points in this season. But, you know, the way he conducts battle, his ideology, you know, everything is just kind of inspired from Yang Wenli. And whether or not he does have political ambition is something that may or may not be explored in the future as well. Because, you know, if Yang Wenli doesn't have political ambition, but Julian has the same capability as him, might Julian have political ambition? I think that's a really interesting thread to explore. I have one thing left written down, basically that Merkats, or Merkats, I really don't know how you pronounce these names because they're foreign names, but they're spoken in Japanese, so I don't know if it's like a Japanese pronunciation of a foreign name or if that's like the actual pronunciation of said foreign name. Merkats is the admiral from the Empire. He's an ex-admiral from the Empire who defected to the Alliance because he didn't agree with Lohengrom's politics and everything, the way he conducted his empire. He defected to the Alliance because he agreed more with Yang Wenli's points of view. And, you know, so now he's becoming more ingratiated into the fleet with Yang Wenli and everybody aboard. As the Alliance government kind of fell, the military is now, I guess, essentially part of the Empire. And, you know, you have Merkats, who, if the Empire found him on the Alliance ship and had him, found him, defected and everything, they probably would have, assassinated him or executed him. So what ends up happening with him is that, you know, he leaves and he takes some of the Alliance people with him, the people who want to fight with him, you know, basically to build a private military, which reminded me a lot of Metal Gear Solid. And my note was that Admiral Merkats is Big Boss, and he's building his outer heaven. He even looks like Big Boss. If you look at Merkats, he kind of looks like Big Boss. So I thought that was really funny. I really like where the show is headed. You know, the ending, it was another sad ending. because, you know, Lowen finally gets what he wants. He actually succeeded in his plan, and it only took him half the show. Actually, that's another thing. I have to talk about this, but let me finish my thought here. Yeah, he finally accomplishes what he set out to accomplish halfway through the show, but it doesn't mean anything because the people that he wanted there with him when he achieved that are not with him. And it's like, you know, I got what I wanted, but is this really what I wanted? And it was very sad. The show was opening. You know, at the end of it, it shows the photograph of Lohengrin, Kierkeis, and Lohengrin's sister. I think her name is Anne Rose, I think. But you know, it shows like the framed photo with them. And like the first time I saw that, I got really emotional. I was like, oh, that's so sad. I'm getting a little emotional as I speak about it. One more thing before the end of this video. Yang Wenli and Reinhold von Lohengrin, they meet, and it is the thesis of the show. You know, they're talking, and it's like a short 2 or 3 minute scene, but they're talking about their ideologies and why they believe what they do. And it really sucks because if the circumstances were different, they would have been close friends. They would have been strong allies, but and like even their temperaments are like compatible with each other. Like they really could have been good friends, but their politics are so different that they can't really compromise. Yang Wenli's belief in democracy being just, and you have Lohengrin's belief in a dictatorship being just. When, you know, you have, like, at face value, given world events and world history, you know, democracy is a good thing and dictatorships are a bad thing. But, you know, if a dictator is benevolent, Lohengrin's view is a dictatorship really a bad thing? What Yang Wenli has to say about that is that the difference between a benevolent dictator and an evil democratic government is the fact that the people had a choice. And that's, I think the people's free will is the most important thing. And it has, I don't know, it really does have me thinking, because Lohengrin is not wrong, but Yang Wenli is also not wrong. But now that we're kind of like living in a reality where democracy has failed, it's a really unique question to ponder. Yeah, this show is getting better and better as the seasons go. I have 2 more seasons left, and I'll probably end up watching the films as well, even though I think they're just recaps of the first few episodes or something. Maybe I'll make my fiance watch them. But yeah, I'm really excited to finish this show up. I really love where it's headed so far. You know, with today's political turmoil, it has me thinking a lot about that. And you know, I'm glad I'm thinking about that because it is important. So yeah. Legend of the Galactic Heroes Season 2.